everyone, welcome back for another homeschool video. I had a request to talk about some transcripts for homeschooling, and so I thought I would just go over what I do in my homeschool and give you some ideas of how you can easily make transcripts for your high school kids in your homeschool. So homeschooling high school is not as overwhelming as many people make it out to be. I know that some people get intimidated by the thought of homeschooling a high schooler. By the time most children are in high school, they should be able to do a lot of their work independently, which means that you give them the books, you tell them the expectations, and then you just keep an eye on them and you inspect their work, you make sure you grade their papers, keep track of their grades, make sure they're staying on schedule, help them make a schedule if that's something that they need help with. But besides that, you don't really have to do a lot to homeschool your high schooler. You may need to help them with some of the curriculum or some of the subjects that they're learning, but for the most part, they will be able to do it on their own. So it's not as intimidating as most people would think it is. It also is not as difficult as most people think. I think a lot of people get the idea that getting into a college is a huge deal and they're not going to have enough to do it. And it's really simple actually to do those things. So I just wanted to encourage you in that homeschooling your high schooler is not as difficult as you think it might be. And you are capable of doing it. There are so many curriculum options. If you don't want your child to have an actual book and you want them to have a teacher or a video, there are curriculum options for that. So you can have them do a full online video curriculum where they have someone talking to them, they have accountability, they have a teacher who is helping them over the computer, or you can just give them the books and you can help them yourself. So don't be intimidated, you can do it, it's really not difficult. The most difficult part for me that I have found is grading papers. I have a really hard time grading papers. I do not enjoy doing it and I have a hard time fitting it in to my busy days. So the grading of the papers is real difficult for me. I have a big stack over here. Let me show you my stack really quick. Oh, there's my giant stack. All of these papers right here, they all are waiting for me to grade them. And just knocked a bunch of stuff over. Alright, fix that when we're done. So grading papers is the hardest part for me because I just have a hard time remembering to do it. I have spent my homeschooling years doing a very Charlotte Mason type homeschool with my children, which means there's not a lot of the busy work. So there's not a lot of papers to grade, but as my kids have gotten older and they work their way into being more independent and being in high school and having different types of learners, I've found that my boys thrive better with workbook style learning, and that means I have papers that I have to grade. So that is the most difficult part for me. So keeping track of your grades is important once your kids get into high school. If in middle school, my oldest daughter did some high school level English language arts curriculum when she was in 8th grade, I was able to count that toward her high school transcript. So she ended up having an extra English class on her transcript. If they're doing that, just make sure you're keeping track in their middle school and high school years of what classes they're taking. The way that I do this is in my homeschool is with the cumulative record from Masterbooks. This is available in loose leaf form or you can get it as a PDF. It's $6.99 for a PDF. The loose leaf form is $7.19. That's just for one copy, and then you would have to make your own copies or you would have to buy more of those. But if you have a printer and you have a lot of kids, it's worth it to get the ebook. Just get it in PDF form, then you can print it as many times as you want, which is what I have done. I have mine in a binder over here for our homeschool. Each kid has got their part of the cumulative record, and this is how I, for the most part, keep track of things. In this cumulative record, they have a transcript that you can print off and you can fill out for your own student. They also have one that is a sample transcript, so it's already filled out for you, giving you an example of what it should look like. So on this transcript, they've got the school name, the child's name, birthday, graduation date, GPA, credits earned. They've got math, language arts, history, science, electives, volunteer areas of service. They have a place to put any standardized testing results, previous secondary schools attended, and any additional information that you might want to add into your child's transcript. So this makes it so easy to fill out. You can see here is the math section. They've got the grade and the year, the course title, their numeric grade, and how many credits they earned, and then the total credits down here. So this is a pretty simple, straightforward process. If you don't want to purchase the cumulative record, I'm sure you can make your own transcript. You would just need to look online and Google, you know, like example transcript or something like that. You may even be able to find some free printables that other people have come up with. But I have found that having this cumulative record to keep track of every grade and every subject has been really helpful for me. I like to look back and see what my kids have done. I like to have a record of what we've studied and gone through, and that way when I'm feeling like I'm a failure, I can look back and see all the things that we've done. But for the transcript, it's pretty simple. So you just keep track of their grade and what class they're taking, write those down, what year they took it, and then you're able to fill in how many credits it was and keep track of how many credits they've earned. So for my high schoolers, once they get to about 9th grade, we sit down and talk about what they might want to do as a career, what kind of classes they may want to take, and then I keep track of those on a separate sheet. And that way, as things change, I'll show you this separate sheet. This is a 4-year planning sheet that we like to go through whenever they are first beginning high school. So I use this 4-year planning sheet when my student gets into 9th grade and we kind of plan out their 4 years of high school. This changes dramatically depending on the student, and so this is an example for my now 11th grader, and a lot of this is much different than what we had planned, than what he actually is doing. So he had a change of plans, which is totally fine, but this just gives me an idea of what classes will be covered and make sure everything gets taken care of. So if you want to do that when your high schooler starts high school, you can do just a little bit of pre-planning so that you can know that all of your courses will get covered. Basically, you just want to keep track of what your student is taking for classes. You want to make sure you grade their work and keep track of their grades. And then you just put that all down on a piece of paper that has math, language arts, history, science, and electives, and then keep track of the credits that they've earned. And that's basically it. It really is not difficult. It's not as overwhelming as people think it is. So I hope that that was helpful for you. I don't know, maybe I just rambled on quite a bit, but I'll leave a link down in the description box for the cumulative record for you. It actually, Masterbooks is going to be having a sale on November 12th, 2025, and you can get even more of a discount off of those prices. So make sure you check out that link down in the description box. Thank you for watching. Give me any comments or questions down below. I'll do my best to answer them, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.